Hi everyone. So you're gonna hear my kiddo in the background. He's playing. He already said hi. So I'm really excited. First of all, front facing video, whoop, whoop, no planner hands. I'm super excited because I have finally done something that I have been thinking about doing for such a long time, and that is that I subscribe to Book of the Month. Yes! I'm so late to the game, I know. It's a travesty, but I really just, the main reason why I didn't want to subscribe right away was because we are a military family. We do move a lot, and having to move lots of books is not easy. And when I lived with my parents, I had like a wall-to-wall bookshelf that was about, I would say 3 levels high for the most part, and then about 5 to 6 level highs in one area. And so when it came time for me and my husband to move to North Carolina to our first duty station, I did not have the ability to take all those books with us. We were just driving one truck down and we couldn't fit all the books, and I had to donate a lot of my books to the local library because they couldn't stay at my mom's. Sorry. So yeah, that was super hard for me. Now, like, what I did end up doing was I ended up going through my entire library of books. A lot of them were like school books and things like that, but a lot of them were also just books that I've read for leisure. And so I went through, and all the books that I absolutely loved, like that I couldn't part with in actual like hard copy, like physical form, I ended up just keeping with me. And then the books that I could spare to donate, but I still like them a lot, I just wrote a list, and I little by little acquired those books in digital form, in ebook, and or later on in audiobook. And at the time I was using the Barnes & Noble Nook, and right now I still have the Nook app on my phone, but I primarily use the Amazon Kindle. So before I got Book of the Month Club, obviously I was just reading physical books, listening to audiobooks, and then I got this beautiful Amazon Kindle for my birthday last year, and I absolutely love this. This is like, oh, I can't even with how much I love this book. I mean, this little, what do you call this device? Oh my gosh. E-reader, help me Jesus. Here it is. It looks like, I'm pretty sure you've all seen the Kindle. But I basically would just go on here. I did the whole Goodreads thing. This was so cool when I set it up. I loved it. And one of the things that I would do was, because I was interested in Book of the Month Club, I would look at the books that were available and see if they were something that I would like, and I would just download a sample of them on here. And then if it's something that I really did like, then I would just purchase it and read it. Because again, I just didn't have the space for physical books like that. And technically I still don't. But so if you can see, right there is These Violent Delights. This is definitely one of the Book of the Month Club books. That's how I found out about it. I'm 85% through the book. I love it. It's amazing. Highly recommend. So this is definitely one. And so after reading that, I was like, wow. And then I have a coworker. She is subscribed to Book of the Month Club, and she always brings in like 2 or 3 books at work and I'm like, oh, like, what are you reading? Show me what you got going on. And then, so finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take the plunge. So here's my box. I'm so excited. I'm going to show you the first 3 books that I ordered. Now, I did have a code. Oh, this is not sponsored. Book of the Month Club does not know I exist. This is not sponsored. I'm doing this of my own accord. I'm nobody. So, I had a code that I got from Retail Me Not, so that I got my first book credit. Instead of it being $14.99, it was like $10.99 or something. And then I did 2 add-ons for $10 each. So it came out to under $21 for the 3 books that I got. So that was exciting. I was like, what? I just got 3 books for less than $20, or basically $20. Sealed the deal. Okay, so I've never opened this before, so I'm like, oh my goodness. I just cut the little thing off so it's easier for me to do it. I'm so excited. So the first book, y'all, because of COVID and the pandemic, you know, your girl has not been able to walk into a Barnes & Noble. I mean, I could, but I just don't want to be out here in these streets with these germs. And it's been a long time since your girl has been just having a new book. Okay, so I got Imposter Syndrome, all right, by Kathy Wang, and I'm really excited to read this. In 2006, Julia Lerner, a recent university graduate in computer science, is living in Moscow when she's recruited by Russia's largest intelligence agency. By 2018, she's in Silicon Valley as COO of Tangerine, one of America's most famous technology companies. In between, her executive management make offers to promising startups, crush them, and copy their features if they refuse. Self-promotion, check out her latest op-ed in the Wall Street Journal on work-life balance 2.0, and work and gender equality, transfer the most annoying females from her team. She funnels intelligence back to the motherland. But now Russia's asking for more, and Julia's getting nervous. Alice Liu is a first-generation Chinese American whose parents are delighted she's working at Tangerine, such a successful company. Too bad she's slogging away in the lower echelons, recently dumped, and now sharing her expensive 2-bedroom apartment with her cousin Sherry, a perennial founder's girlfriend. One afternoon, while performing a server check, Alice discovers some unusual activity, and now she's burdened with 2 powerful but distressing suspicions. Tangerine's privacy settings aren't as rigorous as the company claims they are, and the person abusing this loophole might be Julia Lerner herself. The closer Alice gets to Julia, the more Julia questions her own loyalties. Russia may have placed her in the valley, but she built her career herself. Isn't she entitled to protect the lifestyle she's earned? Part page-turning cat and mouse chase, part sharp satire, Imposter Syndrome is a shrewdly observed examination of women in tech, Silicon Valley hubris, and the rarely fulfilled but ever attractive promise of the American dream. That's dope. Really excited to get into this. So excited. This cover art is everything. Okay, I'm so excited for this. Ooh, she's thick. Yes. This is Legend Born, and I hope I say her name right, but it's Tracy Dion. When the shadows rise, so will the light. When blood is shed, blood will call. By the king's table, for the order's might. By eternal earths, this line is law. By eternal, oh my gosh, by our eternal oaths, this line is law. I butchered that. Boom. Who wants to read out loud for the craft? Can we just? So actually, I had this as a sample on my Kindle. Oh gosh, this cover art is just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Yeah? Can mommy read? What? Oh my goodness. Go ahead, do it. I know. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape, until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called legend-born students who hunt the creatures down. And a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure reveals Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory with a hidden connection. The night her mother died, another Merlin was at the hospital. Now that Bree knows there's more to her mother's death than what's on the police report, she'll do whatever it takes to find out the truth, even if that means infiltrating the Legendborn as one of their initiates. She recruits Nick, a self-exiled Legendborn with his own grudge against the group, and their reluctant partnership pulls them deeper into the society's secrets and closer to each other. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and explain that a magical war is coming, Bree has to decide how far she'll go for the truth and whether she should use her magic to take the society down or join the fight. Ooh, that sounds like it's right up my alley. I'm all about that magic life. Hogwarts for life. Okay, so this author is from North Carolina. She grew up in central North Carolina, where she devoured fantasy books and southern food in equal measure. Cool. I'm not from North Carolina, but we lived in Fort Bragg for 3.5 years, so I feel like I'm doing it for the homies. So, dope. Next book. This is the book I'm probably the most excited about. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just got to the bottom of the box, and this looks like a bookmark. And it says, "I'm a freak between the sheets." Yeah! I'm here for it. Love that bookmark energy right there. All right, so Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary. You guys, Andy Weir is one of my recently within the past few years, favorite author, okay? I started out with The Martian, loved it. The audiobook is amazing. You need to listen to that audiobook. The narrator is just, whoo, he kills it. But Andy Weir, he did it when he wrote that book. I've also listened to Artemis. It's narrated by Rosario Dawson. This is going to be my first time actually having one of his books in physical form. He is amazing. He writes a lot about space and space travel. So if you're not familiar with The Martian, they turned it into a movie. Matt Damon plays the main character. It's about an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars, and he has to live there for almost an entire year on his own. It's crazy, wild. Such a good book. Artemis takes place on the moon. It's a city built on the moon, and really, really good. I'm not going to give away the details, but Andy Weir is amazing. So this is so cool. I'm super excited for this. A lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish, except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time, and he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home with nothing but 2 corpses for company. His crewmates dead, his memories fuzzily returning. Ryland realizes that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. And with the clock ticking down and the nearest human being light years away, he's got to do it alone. Or does he? An irresistible interstellar adventure as only Andy Weir could imagine it. Project Hail Mary is a tale of discovery, speculation, and survival to rival The Martian while taking us to places it never dreamed of going. To rival The Martian, that's a tall order, but I believe that Andy could do it. I am beyond excited to get into this. I don't know where I'm gonna start. I don't know which book I'm gonna read first. Oh my god. Look at this, my little baby collection. It's so beautiful. I can't believe it. Having 3 new books is just like, yes. So I guess really quick before I hop off of here, I'll just talk to you about what I'm currently reading. So I'm filming on my phone right now, so I can't actually show you my audiobook. Well, you know what? See, the cool thing about the Kindle is you can actually listen to your Audible books on here. You just have to connect Bluetooth headphones. So I can connect my AirPods to the Kindle and I can listen to my audiobook on here, which is pretty dope. I'm currently listening to, on Audible, The Wife in the Attic. And this is supposed to be like a reimagining of Jane Eyre, which is one of my favorite classic novels. So I have been listening to this for a couple of weeks now. Like, I think I'm probably about halfway through, and it's really good. I like it a lot. The narrator is super good. What's her name? Elsa Lepecki Bean. It's a very good performance, and because this was, if I understand correctly, this book never went to like print. This was created specifically for Audible. This is an Audible original. So the person who wrote this book, I believe, Rose Lerner, the individual who wrote the book, she wrote it specifically for it to be performed and as an audiobook. I don't know if I don't think it'll ever be like printed, because it says only from Audible original. So it is excellent, great performance by the narrator, such a really good, rich storyline. So this is really good. It's very mysterious. There's like a lot going on. I mean, if you're familiar with Jane Eyre, but it's like, they're like heavy emphasis on the mysterious here. And then I am also reading, for my physical book at the moment, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. This is a classic. Everybody knows about this. This is basically it's about productivity and, sort of how to time manage and things like that, but it's more so about like character development and how to identify your core values and your beliefs, and then how that helps shape your productivity in a sense. So this is really good. I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens when I was in high school. It was a requirement. I used the Franklin Covey planner, as you all know. And then I just so happened to pass by one of those little outdoor free libraries when I was at work the other night up in Princeton. And it was one of those, you can take one, leave one, or just, however. I obviously didn't have a book to leave because I was at work. But the book that I got from there was this one called The Bone Hunters. And I don't really know much about it. It looked interesting. So I was just like, hey, why not? We'll give it a gamble. I haven't started reading it yet, but it is going to be something that I do want to read soon. So there goes the back synopsis if you want to pause and read that. And I feel like I'm missing a book. Oh, and I'm still reading These Violent Delights. I'm probably going to be finished that by the end of the week. That's I'm reading that for fun. I'm reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People for fun too, but that's probably going to take me a little bit while longer because I'm actually reading it and taking notes and highlighting and things like that. So that's not going to be a super quick read because I do use that system and I am trying to like really learn all the things that are in there. So that's not going to be a real quick read. So yeah, that's where I'm at on my reading. And I know you guys are probably like, what, you do planner videos? I'm like, yeah, but I read so much, and there's much more longevity in my videos if I talk to you guys about the books that I'm reading. If you're interested, if you're not, I'm sorry, probably still gonna talk about it though. Yeah, because like I'm constantly reading, and my planner system does not change. Like I started using the Franklin Covey planner in March. Yeah, I started using it in March. I'm still in it. I just changed my cover. I was in a purple Malden when I first started. Now I'm in this Michael's Recollections binder, but the insides are still the same. I have inserts that start in July, and I don't plan on moving out of this size until January of next year, where I'm gonna probably pop into a classic size. We shall see. Don't know. But yeah, so book videos. Hope you guys like it. Bye.